Let me say good morning to everyone, and I wanted to take this opportunity to name the rest of the people that I am appointing to the Metro Board to join with Karen Patman, uh, who the press conference I think was
A couple
weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago. And so, you're okay. And so, before I get started, I certainly want to acknowledge the city council persons who are here. Mayor Pro Tem Ellen Cohen is here. Councilmember, Vice Mayor Pro Tem Jerry Davis is present. Councilmember Michael Kubarsh, Councilmember David Robinson, Councilmember Brenda Stardick are all here. These are all my favorite city council.
It's true. Whoever's next to him is his favorite. That's it.
So this morning, I'm recommending City Council confirmation next week or as soon as it can take place of 2 new city appointments and 2 reappointments to the Metro Board. The University of Texas Health Science Center Professor Lex Frieden and Taylor Construction Management President Troi Taylor are being appointed to the board for the first time. Sanjay and Christof Spieler are reappointments. It is good to have a mix of new ideas and institutional knowledge. This new board will reflect the diversity of Houston, and it is truly reflective of the diversity of Houston and a diversity of thinking and experience that would be beneficial as Metro works to increase transit options and improve mobility in our area. Metro has made many improvements in recent years, and I want to see the agency continue to excel and address transportation mobility and transit. Lex Frieden. Lex is recognized as one of the founders of the independent living movement in the early 1970s and was instrumental in conceiving and drafting the Americans with Disability Act of 1990. In addition to his teaching position at University of Texas, he is an adjunct professor of physical medicine and rehabilitation at Baylor College of Medicine and directs the Independent Living Research Utilization Program at TIRR Memorial Hermann. And I could say a lot more. But Lex, thank you for being willing to serve. And I would tell you that I'm excited about having you as one of the board members for Metro because I think Lex will add certainly an added perspective for so many people who are dependent on Metro Live and on Metro itself. So and brings a wealth of knowledge and information. So thank you.
Thank you.
Troi Taylor. Troi has 8 years of experience in healthcare development and 7 years of life sciences and higher education experience. He has delivered 10 consecutive multi-million-dollar capital improvement projects ahead of schedule and under budget. He has substantial experience in planning and construction of healthcare and industrial infrastructure facilities. And ironically, Troy's father, Joseph, who is here with us today, is a retired Metro driver. And so, Troi, I'm excited about having you join the Metro Board with your experience, and not just your own professional experience. Your wife is a partner of yours as well. Where's Kelly? She is a partner in their business, and then with your father being a retired Metro bus driver, it's just an added perspective that you bring. And so Metro, I think, can only be enhanced by your presence on the board. Even though Sanjay is not here, let me just say Sanjay is Vice President of CP&Y, an architectural and engineering consulting firm specializing in water, wastewater, aviation, roads, and transit infrastructure, as well as energy and environmental management. He has extensive civic and community involvement that includes board positions, membership service to more than a dozen local organizations. Sanjay, with his added experience, especially as it relates to transit and transportation infrastructure, just lends a great deal of experience to this board, and so he is being reappointed. Christof Spieler, what can you say about Mr. Spieler? When it comes to transit and Metro, when it comes to rebranding of Metro, when it comes to the vision of Metro. Chris has an extensive experience in all of those areas, and I've had the opportunity to sit down and talk with him at length about Metro and its future direction. Christof is Vice President and Director of Planning for the Houston office of Morris Architects, where he works on a variety of public and private planning projects and had efforts on building information modeling. Christof relies on Metro for most of his daily trips. He has written and spoken extensively on transit and urban planning and has helped Houston neighborhoods shape transportation projects. So Chris, thank you and look forward to working with you. I previously announced that Karen Padman would be the new chair of Metro, pending City Council confirmation and Metro Board approval. She is with us today, and let me tell you, with her experience, with her management skills, knowledge of Metro, knowledge of the whole political landscape, being able to work with people on all different levels, there is no question that she will be a visionary and transformative leader for Metro. And now surrounded with her new team, I am simply expecting some great things from Metro as we move forward. Karen, let me thank you again for being so. So let me just say this: this is the team of Houston now and as we move into the future. And I believe working together, along with the other individuals on Metro, that we can expect great things for Houston and the Houston region, because it's a collaborative effort, and we all have to work together to address our transportation, transit, and mobility concerns. Having said that, I will stop and take any questions that anyone may have.
Mayor, can you just say, you said you want great things for Metro. What do you mean by that specifically? Are you looking for any changes or anything, change in direction or anything specific to come out of the agency in the next, in the immediate future?
One of the things that I spoke to several weeks ago was on transportation with respect to TxDOT, where I indicated that the Texas Department of Transportation has channeled its resources based on that 97% of people who are in their vehicles, single occupancy vehicles. And yet this region is still the most congested in the state, if not in the country. We have built out I-10 to 26 lanes. It's the widest freeway in the world. It cost about $2.5 billion to do it about 7-8 years ago, and 7-8 years later, it is the, I think, 8th most congested area in the state. I think it points to the need that we need to have a paradigm shift. We need to offer multimodal forms of transportation. All of those elements need to be factored in and considered, whether it's commuter rail, the additional light rail, whether it's creating more transit development. There are many options that are out there to provide more people with more choices. People do want to see a more urban, pedestrian, walkable city. They want to be able to walk to their destinations, or they may want to be able to get on a light rail train to go to their destination. So I think it's important for this board to establish what that vision is, and then to help to advise a plan to reach that vision. But people need more choices. They need more choices. And we have to design a system that will meet the needs of the 3 million plus people that the demographers are saying will be in our area over the next 10 to 15 years, which is the equivalent of another Chicago being put in the Houston region, where you can't have all these people coming into the region and they can't get from point A to point B. So I'm relying on this new board under Karen Padman to meet the future needs of our community. It will be good for the economy. It'll be good for businesses, job creation, the quality of life, the environment. All of those things will be positively affected by the decisions that this board makes.
I have some non-metro questions, but I can ask anybody else.
Anybody have an extra question? When will the board be confirmed?
My hope was we've tried to do it. We've tried hoping for like next week, but because I think this question is whether or not we can get at least 2 of them on the agenda for the new ones. I would say if not next week, the week after. But we're working on that right now. Certainly within the next 2 weeks.
Mayor, during your inaugural speech, you strongly signaled the need for shared sacrifice.
Yes.
Does the recent credit rating downgrade add urgency or underscore that message?
Without question. You know, the Moody Rating Agency downgraded us a notch from AA2 to AA3. And they highlighted 3 things. The economy with low oil prices, so I don't have any control over that. Then they pointed to the revenue cap that was that we self-imposed on ourselves in 2004, and they mentioned the unfunded pension obligations. Those are the 3 drivers. You know, they did note, on a positive note, and I've sat down and talked with them at length, just like I've sat down and talked with S&P and Fitch, that we are taking conservative projections. You know, the budget that I'm submitting to the members of City Council anticipate oil prices to be right around $20 to $19 a barrel. As of the day, we know they're 40, but we're going to go with 20. Okay. They did note, for example, that the roadmap to balance the city's budget is already finished on my part. It's now being put together to be submitted to members of City Council. And unlike previously, what I intend to do is to submit an executive summary of what that budget will entail and get that to the members of City Council no later than April the 15th. It's my hope that we can move forward and put forth a budget and get it approved the early part of May would be my hope, because I think it would send a positive signal that even when we are assuming the worst and a budgetary shortfall of as much as $160 million, that collectively, members of City Council and myself have been able to balance the city's probably one of the worst budget, in the worst economic times, but we've been able to do it efficiently and in an expeditious fashion. And they speak positively about that. And then the fact that we intend to maintain a fund balance of at least 9% is a plus, and they spoke to that. I will tell you, in the absence of the changes that we have already taken, it probably could have been worse. Now, what does it mean? It means over in the refinancing of bonds, over the next 20 years, it could cost us about $4 million. Nominal impact on 2017. But if we don't turn it around, if we don't address those 3 elements, well, the economy will have to take care of itself. But if we don't address the unfunded pension obligations and the revenue cap, okay, then I think we have to be prepared to take the responsibility if the credit rating goes down. But what they made very, very clear, you cannot be a growing city and a dynamic city, and more people come into the area, and you artificially cap your revenue stream. But that's a decision that everyone will have to make. Okay.
So if you've seen the outline, or you've made the outline of the budget already, I mean, what are we looking at as far as layoffs or any sort of service cuts?
I don't necessarily want to get ahead of, well, I have visited with 13 of the 16 council members already. I still have to visit with 3 more. But in terms of layoff, we're eliminating probably about 54 vacant positions where there's no one there. Those will be gone forever. And then with respect to layoffs, we're probably looking at maybe around 40.
For what kind of FTE positions are you looking at?
They're in various departments. I will tell you there are 2 departments that I am being very, that I have not taken any cuts from, or in very nominal cuts, and those happens to be parks and libraries.
So you're looking at 50, like basically a hiring, elimination of 50 jobs that's unfilled right now, and then 54, and then about 40 FTEs across the board. So that's not huge.
No, I would like to think that it's good management. and maintaining a fund balance of right now 9.4%.
And then will there be any service cuts or furloughs or anything like that?
That's the reason why I've chosen to work to minimize the laying off of personnel as much as possible, because when you the city services are tied to personnel. If you lay off a lot of personnel, you're going to invariably adversely affect city services. What we have done is that in January, I put forth the executive order that forced all of the departments to streamline their operations. And if there are dollars or accounts that were siloed, there are no longer silos in this budget. Everything flushes up, and the decisions are made at this level rather than down below. We have created some efficiencies as a result of the executive order, and that's been a plus. And when you scrub all of the department's budgets and you look through it, there were dollars that were available. We have streamlined their operations that have produced some significant savings, and that is what has minimized the layoffs. But let me say this, like I said to the 23 department heads, it is a preliminary budget because because until the members of City Council and we all vote on it, it's not final. But if there is any deviation from the shared sacrifice and built into this budget, is that everybody will engage in shared sacrifice. If any portion of it comes out or modified, the layoffs will exponentially go up.
Mayor, can we wait for the rest of your budget until you're ready to formally roll it out?
Right.
But no firefighters and no police officers, it sounds like.
Well, let me just let me say this. It is predicated on shared sacrifice. Okay? Now, what that means is that if one piece comes out, the layoffs will exponentially increase.
Mayor, have you begun serious talks with the bargaining units, firefighters, the police, the city workers, outreach to them, letting them know what the realities are financially for the city?
The negotiations have been underway for the last month and a half, and we're making positive progress. Again, this is a budget that is based on shared. It will be a budget that's based on shared sacrifice, and so that's why even I don't want to get caught up on the layoff numbers.
What about pay cuts for like executive level staff?
Well,
like those making
right. But let me just say this. You know, I certainly want to answer. I want to answer your question because I want to be transparent. So I don't like dodging. So I don't mind answering the question, but I don't want anyone to go running based on that response. And what I mean by that, until this budget is voted on and approved by the members of City Council, it is very, very preliminary. Any change, and members of City Council are subject to changing it, and I'll respect their wishes on it. The only point that I'm making is, if there are any changes that reduces the shared sacrifice that is embedded within my budget that I will propose, the layoffs will exponentially increase. And the only group that I said where there will be no layoffs happen to be police officers. I will not lay off police officers. I will not lay off civilians within the police department because they will be backfilled by police officers. And I want more police officers on the street. And I will be very, very, very resistant to making any cuts to parks and libraries, okay? Because in hard economic times, those two institutions are very vital and important. But if people engage in shared sacrifice, then we can get through these challenging times. And I believe the credit rating agencies, I don't think I know, will view the product very favorably. But if any party, any group, any of the stakeholders come and are successful in changing their shared sacrifice or reducing it, the layoffs will exponentially increase. That's the only point I want to make. So I don't want anybody to get comfortable and saying, oh, this is all this being, no more than this number is going to be laid off. Yes, as of today, if it was my budget and if I didn't need the members of City Council to vote on it, And I could say, you know, they gave me their proxy. Yeah, and who knows, by next week, they may give me their proxy, you know. I think on that note, it's time for me to get on this train. But
That includes the recycling plan that you have now, right?
okay,
Yeah.
let me talk about it. I don't want to lose the emphasis, though, of all of these board members, because it is their,
They're great too.
yeah, it's their moment. So please give them and the people of the city of Houston the information, and let them know who the team that's, because one of the most important issues happens to be transit and transportation. And these individuals, I think it's a stellar team. I really do. I think this is a stellar group. I think they're so reflective of the city of Houston, and the talent that comes with this team is immeasurable. So of all of the appointments that I've made, I am most proud of this particular team. So thank you all so very much.